Ayawaneo, aya, ayawane. Our prairies for our water, our rivers and our trees. Our prayer is for our water, our rivers and our trees.
And I know that a lot of people are here from a lot of different fights, and that we all really identify with our fights. I do it, we all do it, but it's important to understand that all of these projects are just part of one network. It's all one pipeline, it's all one system. And so whether you're opposing the Constitution pipeline in Pennsylvania or in New York, or whether you're opposing the Kinder Morgan Tennessee gas pipeline in New York or in Massachusetts or in New Hampshire or beyond, or whether you're opposing Crestwood's methane and propane storage at Seneca Lake, or Dominion's compressor stations in Madison and Montgomery counties, or whether you're opposing the Millennium or Algonquin pipelines or their affiliated projects, we are all fighting FERC. It is all one pipeline, just like our arteries are all one system or the rivers are all one system. It is all one pipeline network. There is not one project or another project. It is one project.
Akweko aska idwa kwetnuni kano deta ladas na itini star huja. That is what we call our mother. That takes care of us, the land that we stand on, that we take for granted. We hold her as sacred as our mother in flesh.
There's a knowledge that says that when we cannot live outside of the bounds of natural law, and we are living outside the bounds of the laws of nature. We're digging up and burning and putting pollution in the air faster than the earth can absorb it. We have to listen to that balance, and we have to understand that if we're going to be in right relationship to the earth on the ground, then it's going to be in right relationship to the atmosphere. That's a lesson that we can learn from fracking and carry forward to make sure that we reject the Constitution pipeline.
The fates of Constitution and the NED pipelines are tied together in a delicate balance. Cutting the cord to one can take down the other. Denial of the Constitution's pipelines, 401 water quality certificate, can not only end Constitution, but cripple a supply source for Kinder Morgan's NED system. And it can also set a precedent for NED, Connecticut expansion, Spectra's Access Northeast, and all the other pipelines still under consideration downstream in New England and across the country. Far too often, those of us who work to stop pipelines hear criticism that we're alarmist, that these pipelines are heavily regulated and meet federal standards. Yeah. And that they'll be underground and we'll hardly ever notice them. Ask the people of Minnesink, New York, who now live with a compressor station for the Millennium Pipeline. Ask them about asthma, nosebleeds, headaches, rashes, and the days that they need to keep their children indoors. Look up what's happening in Minnesink with only 12,260 horsepower of compression. Read the studies by Wilma Subra and Environmental Health Project. Then ask the towns of Brooklyn Township and New Milford, Pennsylvania, Franklin, Schoharie, Wright, and Nassau, New York, Windsor, Northfield, and Draycott, Massachusetts, and New Ipswich, New Hampshire, if these pipelines will be going unnoticed.
No. You know, when somebody says F you to you, you know that they're trying to deliver a message of aggression, of intense aggression. Well, the gas drillers and the pipeline companies have taken FU to a whole new level. When they say FU, they're not just delivering a message of aggression, but they are bringing acts of aggression to our communities, harming our resources, harming our families, harming our homes. Now, we all know what the FU is from the gas drilling industry. The FU from them is what? Frack you. And frack you means I'm going to poison your air, I'm going to poison your water, I'm going to poison your soil, I'm going to poison your bodies. I'm going to do it with impunity, without care, and without regard. words, or when the pipeline industry says F you, how do they say it? They say FERC you. And what does FERC you mean? FERC you means I'm going to take your land. I'm going to pollute your air. I'm going to subject your families and your communities to the threat and the reality of accidents and incidents and explosions from our pipeline projects. I'm going to take your front yards and your backyards and your public parks and your peace of mind. I'm going to devastate your forests. I'm going to destroy your wetlands. I'm going to carve up your creeks. I'm going to inject them with pollution, and I'm going to subject critical areas of your watershed to devastating harm. No pipeline! No pipeline! No pipeline! No pipeline!
We are very, very concerned because our situation is different from a lot of landowners. We have had severe flooding and destruction of our road. This pipeline goes through our wetlands, our creek, and is very close to our well, and is on a steep terrain. And when we asked them to come and at least address, engineers come look at our particular piece of property, we were dissed. They had no time for us, and told generically that, oh, the engineers flew overhead. No one ever did a walk on site, and they really don't care. And it's not a matter so much of what's fair and right, it's a matter now of our safety.
They already cut the trees on my home in Pennsylvania, but if we can stop them here today, if we can get the certificate denied, then we'll still be able to replant on our land, we'll still be able to use our land, we'll still have our land for ourselves, we won't have to give it up to the Constitution Pipeline by eminent domain. And so we're here today to try to convince Governor Cuomo that by the example that they've set on our land, the example that they've set throughout the whole pipeline route, and from what we've seen so far of Williams and how they build their pipelines, they don't follow the rules or the regulations. And we're here to convince Governor Cuomo that they're not going to follow the rules or the regulations when it comes to this water quality certificate either.
Work doesn't work.